You're watching Weekend at Gabe's, and I'm Weekend Gabe. This latest episode was brought to you by the good folks over at the Ghetto Flower. Use our code W at G for an exclusive 15% discount when visiting their site. Tell them I sent you. Now enjoy the show.
All right, it is a pleasure to introduce our first guest to the show tonight. Listen, he's broadcasting from somewhere in Logan Square, I think, but we'll find out for sure. But we're welcoming Heartgaze on to Weekend at Games. How are you?
Hello, I'm
How's it?
good. How are y'all doing?
Doing
Did I
good,
get
man.
that? Did I get
No
that right?
bad.
I heard that you're in Logan Square these days.
No, I'm actually in New York right now. I'm here for like a couple of days, but I live around Noble Square in Chicago, so close to Logan Square though.
Word.
Got it. All
Yeah,
right. Well, thanks so much for making time for us. I know you're busy. We got you on the clock, so we appreciate it. First off, you got the two new records that are out there: "Pretentious" and "Do Not Disturb."
yeah,
With
yeah.
the Don Diaz and Victor Internet, two frequent collaborators. Talk about like putting those records out. Getting what are you stirring up? Well, what do you want us to take notice of? Is something big on the horizon?
There's some good stuff coming. I'm gonna quickly shout out real quick Frankie Skoka right here. Y'all say hi to
Yeah.
Frankie.
Hell yeah.
We vibing it out. We vibing it out. First of all, shout out Frankie Skoka real quick. And yeah, so those two songs are super fun. I love D&D and Pretentious were both songs that I made with the homies, just kind of like homie songs, you know what I'm saying? Like they're not necessarily like super conceptual or anything. It's just kind of us having fun and making music together. And just kind of enjoying. And so yeah, so there's a lot of big things coming. I think those songs are not mainly a part of that for myself, but they are super fun songs that I just wanted to put out and enjoy and have fun. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Also, very quickly, shout out to my boy Alot right
Hey,
here
what's
from
up?
Yo, what's
Argentina.
good?
Very talented Argentine artist. Let's go.
Hell
Let's
yeah.
go. Carly's here too, but she's chilling. Do you want to come say hi? Okay, and Carlianne is here. Carlianne Tamara.
Yeah, I got the
Hey.
whole crew D. Yes.
Let's
Yeah,
talk
everyone's
about that for a little bit though, because I whenever I see you out or performance shows, collaborating on music, it's you got a tight knit group of friends with you, and this interview is no different. Y'all are rolling together. You're in New York for a couple more days, and I think y'all are in Madison. By the end of the week.
Madison on Friday. That's gonna be sick.
Word.
Yeah, I just believe that collaborating is like the most fun way to make music, and I try to have fun. I don't like it when music doesn't feel fun, so I'm just trying to like always meet people and hang out and do cool shit. So sorry, I don't know if I can sort, but I'm hoping I can.
No,
You're good.
And I just like doing cool stuff and just meeting people and you know that I'm from Argentina, so I think that's like something that we do. We're very like outgoing and like we like to meet people. A lot's from Argentina. He's looking at me, but yeah, I think we like are very like outgoing people, and so I try to meet. I'm always trying to meet people and make music and hang out. So.
And Columbia College, which I have to hit the air horn for. Weekend Gabe is a Columbia alum, you know what it is. But obviously that background, the diversity in background, gives you a lot of that edge artistically. You talked a little bit about like the Argentine outgoing forwardness. What other edges do you feel like that background gives you musically these days? Because I don't know that there's any other artist right now who has quite the cult following that I think Heartgaze has.
Let's go. I like that. I like cult followings. At least in the underground Chicago. Like I was just talking about like how like I love well obviously like I didn't like choose it, I guess, but like I love having following in Chicago, not being from Chicago. Like obviously I didn't choose not to be from Chicago. I was just born in Argentina and raised and all that. But like I like love having that sort of following. It's like it's just fun not being from there. It's very interesting to see people actually enjoy and like interact with my music, considering that I'm actually not from here at all, you know what I'm saying? And like my music is very much like shows that. I think I don't know if D&D and Pretentious are like the best songs to showcase that, but I think like my other songs really do that, and my project that's upcoming like for sure does that. So
Does
What is
it
it?
feel like home for you? Sorry, Gabe, didn't mean to step on you. But does Chicago feel like home for you right now? We
Yeah.
had some interns from Colombia. They were like, "No, Chicago does not feel like home. I need to get back to Peru as soon as possible." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
Yeah, Chicago does feel like home. I like it a lot. It's been 3 years
yeah,
that I've been in the US. So I think Chicago started to feel like home, and there's a lot of fun things to do there and just like people. So I like honestly enjoy it.
where
But yeah, no, it's super chill. I like Chicago a lot for sure.
We're when we're doing research, we came across one of the interviews, and you were talking about like how when you landed, when you decided to come here for school, like you didn't even like visit ahead of time. You kind of just came here without having really a foundation or a family or anyone structured. But you talk about like being able to gravitate and bring people to meet people, and you never feel like alone. What do you sort of credit that to? As being able to identify or connect with people, and it doesn't feel like an alone experience.
I think like not to repeat myself, but like from like my background in Argentina and everything, just overall, I think like I've learned how to like with time kind of get to know people and try my best. So yeah, it is true. Like I didn't come to Chicago at all. Like I didn't know Chicago until I moved. I didn't know anything. So
Yeah.
I landed in Chicago, and a friend of mine also moved in. So I did have one person, my friend Santi, shout out Santi. And then but I kind of started just getting along and trying to meet people. I mean, music is such a community based thing. So it was like, it all just takes time and patience and just getting yourself out there. And I think I've
Right.
like reached a cool point now where like I've met a lot of really good people and just having fun with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You speak in another interview about approaching the shows that you're doing with a little bit of mystery, and maybe that's a word that I'm putting into your mouth. But
Yeah.
you
No,
say
real.
that you don't want people to see the set list beforehand. You don't really want to necessarily engage with people before the show goes on. You usually tucked away in a corner of the room. Sometimes in disguises. I've seen you in disguises, seen you outside of disguises. What's your idea behind that?
I just hate like spoiling my stuff to people. I kind of want like even my closest
Mm.
friends to like always get to enjoy what I do through like a lens of like mystery and how like I want the whole world to see it. Because if I had like his power and fame, I'll probably be like Frank Ocean, just like not show my face ever around anything or anywhere. Like if I really
Is that
could,
where we're
like
headed with Heartgaze? Is you
for
gonna be?
sure. I don't have anything to hide. I'm a pretty chill person, but just like overall, like I just kind of love the idea of really just dropping music when I want and just kind of like it's a mystery and then boom, it's like a surprise. Like I just love that so much. So I would like love to have a more low key persona, but for the meantime, like what I do to like combat that, as I can't really do that, is like at least for my closest friends, sometimes I like I won't show myself rehearsing to them, or like I'll keep my rehearsals to myself and things like that, or like not spoil the set list or not tell people what I'm doing, because like I kind of like that the shows then feel more like an experience for them, and just kind of like a less it's just more surprising, and I just kind of like enjoy that. And I think like there's a lot to love and like there's a lot to enjoy in like my shows. I think I'm a cool performer every now and then. But like I think it's super it's an interesting thing, but I just that's just how I feel. I also like don't I feel that way about music in general. I don't like love promoting like snippets of songs when they're not done or like unreleased. Like I don't
Yeah.
always it's like sometimes I will, but like I'm not really, you know. I like kind of like being a little mystery sometimes with those things. With the music and stuff, I love being that. But then if you ask me a question on my personal stuff for an interview or something, I'll usually just be pretty open to answering anything. I'm pretty chill. So,
Yeah.
or if people meet me IRL, I guess.
Yeah.
Can you break down what you describe as your sound as avant-garde reggaeton? Can you
Let's go.
get down to the center of the earth of what that means?
Yeah, so I mean, that's essentially is like I've made some reggaeton songs for sure, but like I think I was using that as like a way to describe myself for like when I first arrived to the US and I would be in school and I was like probably the only person making reggaeton in school. I would say that to like combat anything, and also because like I don't really make full-time reggaeton, like that's not all I make. So that's the avant-garde. It's just like, oh, like I'll like separate and do like whatever and experiment, and I still have those songs. So it's kind of like that was my description of it, and then I just used it as a way to like just like really distance myself from a lot of things and like university and shit and like people around me, because I thought it was more interesting and more fun and kind of had an edge to it. You know what I'm saying? So I beyond having reggaeton songs or whatever, like I think it was a thing of like just me having more fun with how to describe music, because I think it's like undescribable at times. Like I think I've like really just done so many different things. Like I don't think any of my songs that are out sound like D&D, and all my other songs sound like very different things. I have some trappier like emo songs, and then I have like some pop ballads, and then reggaeton, and then more like R&B things. And so I don't know, like I try doing like a lot of different things and kind of have fun with it. So
I think that's the most encouraging thing that I hear from you is I really want to have fun with this. So you mentioned in another interview how much Tyler, the creator, inspires you, and I see a lot of similarities there as far as, you know, he came up in this one very specific lane of rap, very jarring lane of rap, but these days it's more musical, it's more pop songs, it's more ballads, those sorts of things. So I see a lot of that similar growth in your career, and it's super cool to see you playing in your own sandbox, man. So that's awesome.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, for sure. I think I was also, since I was very inspired by him, like he taught me to like just say fuck it and just like do anything and just kind of like enjoy making music.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna circle back on that. Victor Internet said in his recent Lyrical Lemonade how you kind of gave him the confidence to subscribe to the "who cares what people think, let's just make it," and it comes out the way that it comes out. That freedom of thought and experience. How does, most people will make a certain kind of music that they begin with and will be fearful of falling out of that lane because they think that people won't accept something different. How important is it for you not to fall into sort of boxes of sounding like somebody, or or identifying as something that people are familiar with, and you just keep people guessing about what you're going to do next? How important is that?
I mean, I don't think of it as like an importance thing. I think it's like more just how my mind works overall. Like just like it's like unhelpable, you know. I'm always gonna try and like, because I'm like just my creativity is always like running around and doing different things. I think like at the end of the day, like it's less of me trying to do that. It just kind of happens. So it's obviously important and all of that, but it's more of like a thing that just kind of like works for myself and just kind of ends up happening anyways. So it's important for me to do that, but like it's not something that I completely control all the time. And then what happens with that is it means that sometimes I'll do like a super cohesive thing, and sometimes I'll just do something that's like a mess and artistic. But it's just, then again, it's on the bane of like experimentation and like creating and all that, you know.
I saw in another interview on that note, you when you're thinking about visual imagery and concepts, there are certain things that grab your eye. You mentioned in another interview these fake Chanel earrings, which really stood out to me. Just like almost these inanimate objects that like lay around your room that you get a lot of inspiration from. What sort of things like that grab your attention? Is it just, you're out walking around and it's a mural or a billboard, or?
I love like architecture sometimes, for sure. Like my girlfriend studies architecture, so I feel like she's taught me a lot on like visual organization and shit like that and all that. But for sure that like movies, clothing. I mean, I'm a huge fashion person in clothing. I carry around with me lotion and necklace like all the time, so I love Chanel. And just like overall, like I just love it's different things that inspire me, and I don't want to say like I'm a materialistic person, but I think like overall sometimes I can be, and I can just choose to be in a way that like makes sense with what I create. And it's like whatever I do or use that's like fashion shit is like relating to my art in a way. There's always going to be some sort of nod to like the things I love and those things that are like beyond music, you know. Like I love doing lyrics about different clothes or something, or just like references to movies or places or things or people or whatever, like anything. It's all just kind of how I see it. And visually, for sure, it's super important because it's just inspiring. You know, I just look at and judge everything visually too, like in terms of like design or yeah, you know what I mean, like artistically. So
Absolutely.
Can we ask like what kind of machinery are you using when you make your music? Is it just your computer, your laptop, your microphone? Like, what are you using to create sounds or keyboards?
Yeah, usually just my computer. I have a little keyboard that I use. I have an SP404 that I like using a lot, and Victor gave me an OP1, which I've been using. It's a lot of fun, little machine thingy. Yeah, mainly my computer is the most important thing. I do everything there. My laptop. I'm a laptop person. Like I'm like always like on it. Like I just love it. I love how compact it feels.
Yeah.
Got it.
No, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I want to dive a little bit deeper into the taste of things. You credit your mother for your taste a lot.
Yeah.
You've called her the goat before. That she has an incredible artistic eye. Can you dive into how she imparted those things? You also say that you don't always necessarily agree on the things that she likes or you like type thing.
Yeah.
But how do you contextualize her contribution to your artistic?
My mom's the goat. I meant that. It was a birthday yesterday, so shout out my mom.
Hey,
That's why I'm in New York. Okay. Yeah, it's
word?
just because it was her birthday. Yeah, she doesn't live here, but she came to visit. So yeah, we both came here. She just overall has like a very artistically driven mind. She's not an artist, but she like loves it and just has a full and like appreciation for culture and things. And since I was like younger and like a kid, she taught me like how to like really like love art and like enjoy everything I do and like, you know, kind of just put myself out there and not be afraid of my art and everything. I think she like helped me understand all those things through a lens of like judging art in a way, you know, and like understanding it and understanding culture and also like knowing how to learn from different cultures, you know, and like not in a bad way, you know what I'm saying? Like learn and like be open-minded and everything. She definitely taught me a lot. So she's literally the goat, the best.
No, hell yeah, hell yeah.
One of the things that you mentioned, if we can circle back to the future of what you might be doing, is that you talked about how with Spanish or singing and rapping in Spanish, like that doesn't really compute to you sounding like anyone else. The same way that
Right.
in America, rapping and singing that can be perceived as a style that you might have heard. So this is kind of like gives you a lot of flexibility with either rapping in Spanish and English or singing and rapping or in English and Spanish. How do you plan to maneuver into either a full-time Spanish record or album? Is that going to be an easy transition, or are you still sort of working out how that's going to be developed?
I think my idea is to like never do a full thing in any full thing. Like my idea is, at least for the project I'm gonna put out, is that it's very much like bilingual. I've even done like a song that had Japanese from these friends in Japan. So like and so I think like what was I gonna say? Yeah, I think my project essentially is like mainly both English and Spanish. My idea is to always keep it that way and always kind of try to like understand. I mean, maybe I'll do a project that's fully in Spanish, but I think like I just loved finding the right pocket to like have both languages as they're both part of my life. You know what I'm saying? And like part of what I do in my everyday. Because I have a lot of friends that I speak to only in Spanish, and then I have friends that I speak to in English, and then friends that I do both, and it's always like going around, you know.
Yeah.
So but yeah, it's a thing that for sure, like I'm glad that it separates me a little bit from like everyone else, especially like in Chicago, which I'm not saying that in a weird way, but like just in general, it's like super fun to be kind of the only one doing certain things because of my language and stuff and kind of breaking barriers for that. So it's super fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Super interesting.
Unique is the word to describe Heartgaze for sure.
Thank you.
And one of those unique things that you had happen to you was that a lot of this cult following that we mentioned before sort of arose during the pandemic. So you didn't get to meet any of these people who are listening to your music and consuming the product in real life. So you mentioned a lot about feeling, as an online entity, as opposed to like this real life physical artist. We've had a lot of different artists come on here and talk about their kind of alter ego. Like people talk about, Clemente versus Heartgaze or, whatever. And it's important to have that border. But for you, it seems like you're leaning into the online entity because it adds a little bit to that mystery of your, the whole ethos. Can you talk a little bit about that and how that's affected you?
I just love like being in my own world with certain things and creating my own world as Heartgaze. It's like the whole digital entity thing was like, it's very much real. It was like the fact that I didn't get to see people. It's like super rooted in that, and the fact that I couldn't see people all the time or like be a part of like all the scenes that I was kind of seeing from afar because of where I was physically. So like that's super fun and all, but like I think it was something that was more based in just the mixture of that and also an aesthetic that I just love and what I do. And I think like I think it's like, yeah, it's definitely not like an alter ego sort of thing. It's just rather like a part of like who I am and all of that. And I just love that it's a part of mission. It's like then people like meet me in person and it's like, oh, like this is this person. Like I'm pretty tall, so I like when people meet me. They think I'm short. Like people think I'm really short on social. Like people think I'm short, but I'm like 6'1", which is like not super tall, but like people think like I've had like so many people that I've met like in person and they think like I'm short in socials. So then they meet me in person, I'm kind of tall and they're like, oh shit, like I didn't think this is what you would look like. So I like kind of love that. So that's why I kind of keep myself to also be like a digital thing. And I also get it with people myself. Like, like anytime I meet someone, I'm like, oh, like, thank God they're shorter than me. I had that with Frankie for sure. I was happy. You can't hear me right now, but
no, I love that. I love that.
But yeah,
go ahead,
mystery.
Before we get out of here, really quick, I dug up when we were doing our research. I dug up 3 separate compliments that you received from artists that you worked with in their own individual interviews where your name came up. One of them was Cici Malavia, who credits you as being a brilliant producer and also helping change your life. And then we mentioned earlier how Victor Internet mentioned how you kind of gave him that outlook of not caring so much about what the public may think, but just create. And then Connor Coe talked about how you influenced him when trying to record a song in his dad's farm. I don't know if you remember that at all.
Oh, Connor Keo. Yeah. Those are people I love. CC's one of the most like talented people I know in the world and one of my best friends, and just like everything they create, their art is like so important to me and what they do. So yeah, I like these are all people that I've created with like so much. And Connor too, like we did this album in the farm, which was super cool and fun. And then Victor and me are like always making stuff. So it's like, yeah, I appreciate those comments and I feel the same way towards them. They're all people and artists that like I love and appreciate so very much and like everything that they do. Yeah, and I appreciate that. Like that's cute. Like,
well, how do you square that? Because Victor had mentioned like you're like a little bit younger than him, so like you're this younger person, but like with all this great influence that's inspiring.
I'm like a couple months away from him.
You made it seem like you're a little bro.
Yeah. I mean, like I am younger, but like a couple months. Like they were born in like October, November, sometime there. I'm terrible with birthdays. And I'm February. Like it's a couple months.
All right, so it's all right. Got it. I got you.
All right. One last question. We like to end on a fun note. And I was very tired this morning as I was putting this together. So if this makes no sense, please tell me. But the name is Heartgaze, and I like coming up with weird questions. So this is my question for you. Last question of the night. If your heart was a room and we was all outside looking through the window, what would be in the room? What would the room look like?
Probably like all the people that I love in my life.
Yeah?
Yeah, probably.
Hell yeah. Couches, chairs, what are we doing?
they would just all be there drinking Fernet and Coke, which is this, our Fernet is this Italian drink. They're probably all the people that I love in my life and the close people to me, and like everyone I care for will be in the room drinking that. Probably like a couple like nice decorations and like YSL cologne.
Lots of Chanel. Lots of Chanel and YSL cologne. Yeah.
Lots of that. That's probably what you would see.
Word. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for giving us your time. I know you're in a rush. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Appreciate it. You can catch Heartgaze downtown Madison this Friday night. What a hell of a lineup. CC Maravilla, Sant, Chase Alex, and Connor Coe are going to be joining him. Go to Madison if you haven't already. Find a great group. Thank you so much again for checking with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Heartgaze tonight. Man, I love that kid. I love what he's doing.
Oh man, we didn't even get to talk about the Aux, which was one of my favorite underground venues, and he was there the night we shut it down. So shout out to Heartgaze, man. I'm sure there is much more to come from him. I always find it fun when I pull up to a show to see somebody and Heartgaze is also performing. I'm like, oh, this is a total win, because it's going to be an elite show at that point. So yeah, shout out to him, and CC Maravilla in her own right needs an interview. So we'll have to set that up down the line for sure.
Definitely. I hope to catch him this summer, but I am not going to Madison. It's a little bit far from me.
I hear that coffee you're developing over there, Weekend Gabe. You're not going nowhere.
I mean, I've been to Madison, but it's a journey, and I have to work now. We'll catch him this summer. I'm sure it will.
Thank you for watching the latest episode of Weekend at Gabe's on YouTube, brought to you by the Ghetto Flower. Make sure to also click on the links in the description for more information to our guests and access to exclusive new music from the Ghetto Flower and so much more. Make sure to also like and subscribe to the show, and also continue to share, support, and show love by clicking on any of the links surrounding my head. Thanks for watching.